He thought stealing her life savings would destroy her forever. But he made one tiny mistake, and that mistake eventually exposed everything. Sophie Harris had spent 3 years saving money for one dream, opening her own little bakery in Manchester. She worked long shifts at a cafe, skipped expensive holidays, and saved almost every pound she earned. Finally, she had saved enough. She had already found a small shop she wanted to rent. She had even chosen the color for the walls. Everything was ready. Then one evening, Sophie received a message that appeared to be from her bank. It warned her about suspicious activity on her account. A few minutes later, she received a phone call. The man on the other end sounded professional. He knew her name. He knew the last 4 digits of her account. He even knew the name of her bank. "We believe someone is trying to access your savings," he told her. Sophie panicked. He instructed her to move her money into a temporary, secure account while the bank investigated. She followed his instructions. Within minutes, her entire savings disappeared. When Sophie checked her account again, her hands started shaking. The secure account didn't exist. She had been scammed. She immediately contacted her real bank. The fraud department froze her remaining accounts and reported the transactions. But most of her money had already moved through several different accounts. Sophie felt completely broken. That money wasn't just money. It was 3 years of sacrifice. It was her bakery. It was her future. For several days, she barely left her apartment. She canceled the bakery lease. She returned the equipment she had ordered. Even the little notebook where she had written her bakery plans was thrown into a drawer because she couldn't bear looking at it. Then, one night, Sophie replayed the phone call in her mind. Something didn't feel right. She remembered the scammer saying the investigation was being handled from an office near Birmingham. At the time, she hadn't questioned it. But now she wondered why a bank employee would mention a specific location during a security call. She wrote the name down. Then she remembered another strange detail. The man had sent her a document containing a customer service number. She opened it again. There was a tiny spelling mistake in the company's name. That mistake gave Sophie an idea. She searched the name online. What she discovered shocked her. The same fake company had been connected to several complaints from other victims. Sophie contacted them. One victim had lost £7,000. Another had lost nearly £12,000. Another had lost her entire pension. One woman told Sophie she had been too embarrassed to tell her family. Sophie understood exactly how she felt. Instead of keeping quiet, Sophie suggested that they collect everything together. They created a private group and began comparing their experiences. The messages were almost identical. Same fake company. Same style of phone call. Same instructions. And, strangely, several victims had received documents with the exact same spelling mistake. Sophie created a detailed timeline showing how the scammers had contacted each person. She also compared the bank accounts used to receive the stolen money. One account appeared again and again. Then Sophie noticed something even more important. A phone number connected to one of the accounts had been used in an old online advertisement. It was an ordinary advertisement for office furniture. But the seller's name matched the name of a man who had appeared in one of the victim's messages. Sophie sent everything to the police. Days later, an investigator contacted her. "You've done something extremely useful," he said. The investigation became much bigger. Police traced the money through several accounts and discovered that the scammers were using rented offices and temporary bank accounts to hide their identities. Then they found the location Sophie had remembered from the phone call. A small office in Birmingham. One morning, officers entered the building. Several people were arrested. And the man who had spoken to Sophie was among them. But there was one final mistake. When he first contacted Sophie, he had accidentally sent one document from his personal email instead of the fake company account. That single mistake connected him directly to the operation. Investigators found more evidence on his devices. Fake bank documents. Lists of victims. Call scripts. and records showing how the stolen money had been moved. Sophie finally understood why the man had sounded so confident. He had done it before, many times. Eventually, the case went to court. Sophie didn't recover every pound immediately, but she received compensation through the legal process, and the people responsible were held accountable. Still, Sophie refused to let them steal something else from her. Her dream. She started again. She began selling cakes from her tiny kitchen. At first, she had only a few customers. Then people started recommending her. A local cafe asked her to supply desserts. Then another business contacted her. Within a year, she had more orders than she could handle. 2 years later, Sophie finally opened the bakery she had dreamed about. On the wall behind the counter, she placed a small sign. Someone may steal your money, but never let them steal your future. One evening, after closing the bakery, Sophie stood alone behind the counter and looked around. 5 years earlier, she had believed her dream was gone forever. Now she had built something even better. The scammer had tried to take away her future. Instead, his own mistake exposed him. And Sophie proved that sometimes the strongest revenge isn't destroying the person who hurt you. It's rebuilding the life they tried to take away. Do you think Sophie handled the situation the right way? Tell us in the comments.